Giannis for the Bucks.
It's East Conference Finals. There's no excuses. It doesn't matter whoever's playing, who's not playing. You got to fight through and win.
Caught and flushed by Brook Lopez. They have no answer for Lopez.
Off to Bobby Portis. Slam dunk.
Portis has come up big. The fans love him here.
Middleton spins, gets deep. What a move.
I thought we just did a great job of playing together. And when everyone's scoring, everyone's doing their thing, that's tough for the defense.
So the Bucks on the verge of the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974. We welcome Malika Andrews back to the show. And Malika, the storyline for this postseason, we're going to have some new blood in the finals. And unfortunately, injuries are a gigantic storyline in the East and in the West. In this series, we have Giannis out with that knee hyperextension. What do we know about his potential availability for Game 6?
Well, for Game 6, Scott, he is officially listed as doubtful for that game. And Mike Budenholzer told me that Giannis, because Friday was a travel day, he actually still hasn't been able to get on the court to do any basketball activities. Now, at shoot-around on Thursday, he was in the weight room. He was able to do some work there. Obviously, I saw him in Game 5 on the sidelines. He was walking up and down the sidelines, cheering on his teammates. But he did work in the weight room, not on the court. And that's going to be an integral step in his eventual return to the floor. So the Bucks know it's a very real possibility that they're going to have to try to close out this series without him. And Chris Middleton said after the game he was going to go back home. He watched the game back immediately. He drank some Pedialyte while he did so, but they were really focusing in on what they're going to need to do to step up, because they know that it's a very real thought that they may not have their star here in Game 6, Scott.
Well, they got some big contributions from Portis and Lopez in Giannis' absence, and the Bucks have the luxury of not needing him in Game 6. They've got a game in hand. You don't want to play around, but you could lose a game. Atlanta does not have that luxury, and they didn't have Trae Young the last two. What do we know about Trae's possible play for Game 6?
Well, the outlook for him is a little bit more positive, Scott. He's officially listed as questionable. I saw Trae Young when he was warming up ahead of Game 5, which he obviously did not play in, but he was able to shoot. He was moving a little bit gingerly, but this continues to be about two things, Scott. It's about pain tolerance and his mobility, and those two things, I've been told, they are improving. So we know that Trae Young as a player, this pains him. Much like Giannis Antetokounmpo, these guys are built to be out on the floor. He wants to be there with his team, and I've been told he's been making some pretty good, some pretty significant progress. So he is hopeful, and the Hawks are hopeful that he's going to be able to go, but there's still a couple of things they need to check off that list, things he needs to test out before they make an official decision either way, Scott.
Yeah, you got to think that if he's in any way able to be out on that floor, even in a reduced capacity, he'd be there for Game 6, because if they don't get that one, then there is no Game 7.
Net feel to it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Trae Young in street clothes. Bad left knee, bad right ankle. Series is tied at 2. We are actually in Milwaukee. Trae Young missed Game 4, trying to get some work in, loosen up, had some pain, not going to go. We'll see what happens for Game 6. Bucks go out quick. Remember, they were terrible starting in Atlanta the other night. Have an 11-point lead, missed shot, scrappy, running the floor. Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, he's all up in there with two hands. Minute later, here we go again. Holiday lobs one up. Look at Splash Mountain come down. Stay, you don't need to be out there for 3. You're big. Go inside. There he is again in the painted area. First half, Bucks 28 points in the paint. Hawks had 22. Total, Bucks up big after 1. They were up 9 at the half. Third quarter, Chris Middleton putting a hurt on Kevin Huerter. Minute later, it's a 9. Give me Lopez down low again. And the foul. Look at the soft touch. He knows those 5-serve forearm rims better than anybody. Bucks up by a dozen. Giannis, he's over. He's counting them. Counted up for 3. Bobby Portis. Post up Huerter. Pig Sooie, look at him come through with a bucket. Bucks led by 13 after 3. And then they're pushing it out in the 4th. 15-point lead. Give me Chris Middleton. Middleton had 26 in this game. There it is, soft from the top of the key, and Trae Young helpless again. At least last game when he was helpless, you could cheer. This one, not much for him. Middleton, Lopez, big man, but a soft baby hook. Got that one to go. He had 33. That's outrageous. Back down the floor. The block on Bogdanovich. Going in for the lay. You're not getting it by big old 1-1. 11's right there. Defensive stalwart. 8 minutes to go. Bucks up 14. I think a lot of this had to do with Sidney Moncrief was in the crowd. I don't know if we get the cutaway there. There's Holiday knocking that bad boy down. Holiday comes through. 13 assists in this one. 25 points. Bucks up 16, and they can kind of walk it home with 2 to play. Holiday splits the defender, and there's Lopez again. Just put it on the roof. I'll get your Frisbee. Bucks win at 123-114. Giannis, not sure we'll see him again for Game 6, but the Bucks, 48 minutes from going back to the NBA Finals. I'm not really sure you're going back. It's been 40 years.
Yeah.
Longer than that, 50 years since they've been back there. But nonetheless, Bucks, they were balanced in this game for sure. Thursday, 4 players better than 20 points, led by Lopez's 33. Combined, those 4 had 106. Bucks, they've kind of been balanced through the postseason. 4th team over the last 25 postseasons to have 4 20-point scorers multiple times during the playoff run. You're going to look to join the Heat, who actually made it to the finals during that season. Naturally, with his 33, Brook gets the Giannis interview spot.
Stephen A. Smith joining us now. So no Giannis, no problem for the Bucks. How was Milwaukee able to win this pivotal Game 5 without their MVP in the game?
Well, the starting lineup showed up. I thought that Bobby Portis was incredible, filling in for Giannis Antetokounmpo, coming up, hitting 9 of 20 shots, hitting 22 points. But the story of the game was Brook Lopez. He was dominant from the start, hitting 14 of 18 shots overall, was being fed adroitly by Drew Holiday, who had 13 assists to go along with his 25 points. We came into the game anticipating that Middleton and Drew Holiday needed to play an exceptional game. Middleton played a good game with his 26 points, hitting 50% of his shots, but Drew Holiday was something special tonight because he was really assisting and getting his teammates involved and being a true point guard. But when you take into account the fact that Brook Lopez, an individual, I got to stand back and give credit where credit is due and just eat some crow here. I didn't think, particularly after watching Game 1, that he would be somebody that could be utilized in this series. I thought they would put him in pick and roll situations defensively. It would really compromise him. As a result, it would get Budenholzer to have to shift him to the bench, and he was going to be a non-factor this series. But he really stepped up big time in a big way tonight. 33 points on 14 of 18 shooting from the field. Just an absolutely spectacular performance on the part of Brook Lopez. Never saw that coming. He played big tonight in every way. He was finishing at the rim. He was a defensive force as well, and he obviously was putting up points. 4 of their starting 5, 22, 25, 26, and 33 points. And, of course, you're not expecting that from P.J. Tucker, who's a defensive ace, and that's what he did. Just got to give credit where credit is due here. Their starters stepped up, didn't get much production from the bench, didn't need it because Portis filled in admirably, and Brook Lopez played bigger than he's ever played in his career, as far as I'm concerned.
That next man up mentality. Okay, let's talk Game 6. What is the key, besides, of course, Trae Young hopefully being in the game for the Hawks to try to keep this season alive?
Well, I think the first things first is you got to hope and pray that Trae Young's going to come back because he's a difference maker. His long-range sniper ability, his cat quickness, his ability to get into the lane, and more importantly, to draw fouls and to put your bigs in compromising situations defensively. That's something that we can't simply minimize. You're going to need Trae Young back. Hopefully, he'll be able to come back. But I think it's a good sign that we saw Bogdanovich drop 28 tonight. Remember, the first 3 games of this series, he was hobbled with that knee injury. But over the last couple of games, he's come on a bit strong and more assertively offensively since Trae Young's gone out of the game. You're getting more offensive production from Lou Williams as well. That's going to have to continue. They're going to have to get a collective effort, and I think John Collins is going to have to get considerably more involved offensively. You need to make sure he gets the ball, him and Gallinari, along with, obviously, Lou Williams and Bogdanovich in the event that Trae Young is not there. They'll feed off the home crowd. They'll be energized. I think a game like tonight ensures that Giannis won't play in Game 6 because if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, why jeopardize it if you don't have to? You want to give him as much rest as you possibly can so he'll be available come NBA Finals if they were to advance past this series. But I think with tonight's win, you ensure he won't be there. So if you're the Atlanta Hawks, you're not expecting to have to worry about him. And as a result, with or without Trae, you have the personnel capable of feeding off of that home crowd because they play better than ATL in some situations than they do on the road.